This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao. A gift from Italy to your home. San Pellegrino Ciao is a flavored sparkling water made with real fruit juice, finished with a pinch of Sicilian salt for a perfectly balanced taste. So which flavor will you choose? Peach, lime, blood orange, cherry, or maybe the all-new limoncello? Crafted in Italy with 0 grams of added sugar. San Pellegrino Ciao. Buy it now.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Dave Scott, lost in space, the other side of midnight.
Danger! Baldur Sterling, danger!
Welcome to the other side of midnight. Dave Scott, known Canadian, expert on all things UFO, conspiracy theories, Bigfoot. He's our guy. Dave, what do you have to report tonight?
Well, there's an interesting story coming out here about former Secretary of, I apologize, I'm kind of, sorry, Walter, my eyes just are not
Just say former
properly
secretary,
here.
we don't care.
Yeah, former Undersecretary of Defense and Intelligence, James Clapper, may have been involved, along with a lady named Stephanie O'Sullivan, with a crash retrieval program of UFOs.
Yes.
Now, yeah, I mean, this is getting a little bit weird when it comes to these big-name politicians that we've all heard of, you know, who have been on the news, who have been in the newspapers and been in front of the media for years out of Washington, D.C., and yet secretly they have these side jobs that they are taking care of that are so top secret that they just cannot seem to do anything that they want. So apparently during this time, during the Obama administration around 2009, they helped run a project codenamed Golden Dome, which was the source of a CIA, United States Air Force project about crash retrievals and unidentified anomalous phenomena, otherwise known as UAP. Now, the program could allegedly detect and track these craft even when they were cloaked as they physically manifested. Now, in my opinion, we're dealing with UFOs here on this part if they're manifesting in our system and not man-made objects, which are UAP. Now, apparently, this has been causing quite a stir because Clapper has been somebody who has always really not acknowledged the UFO or UAP phenomena. He's been actually quite quiet until he spoke inside this documentary movie called The Age of Disclosure, where he literally referenced a little bit of the program, saying that this was happening over particularly highly classified Air Force bases and military bases like Area 51, which was, he calling it, the epicenter of cutting-edge military development and testing. Now, to quote Clapper, he said, "When I served in the U.S. Air Force, there was an active program to track anomalies and activities that couldn't otherwise be explained, and many of them were out at test ranges like Area 51. Yet I've talked to people who have worked at Area 51, Walter, and they have stated that no, there are no programs like that. There may have been in the past prior to Obama coming out in 2008 and becoming the first president to acknowledge the existence of Area 51, which was one of the worst kept secrets absolutely anywhere. But since then, these projects seem to be all moved out of that area. So we're starting to see more big-name politicians actually come out and talk about their involvement with these secret programs behind the scenes that nobody knows about.
What do you think happened to those programs? Do you believe they're really not there anymore?
Well, Nellis Air Force Range, which literally takes up about 2/3 of Nevada, it's the largest air testing range and military base in North America.
Wait. Say that again. How big is it?
It's probably about 2/3 of the size of Nevada.
Whoa, I had no idea. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, and on a sidebar, if you're a military buff like I am, whether you served in the military or not, fly into Reno and take the drive from Reno down to Las Vegas. It is all military bases on your left, on the east side of you.
Wow.
It is incredible. It is incredible. But Nellis Air Force Range has a lot of testing. They do Army, Navy, Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force testing all across that base. They test different weaponry there. You know, Area 51 has, you know, bases for Lockheed, bases for Boeing, and all of these test companies that are trying to develop new technologies that they don't want the Russians, the Chinese, or anybody else with satellites up in space to be able to see. So it is very secretive with that. But is there other bases within Nellis Air Force Range, like S4, Papoose Lake, where Bob Lazar allegedly, you know, worked on UFO aircraft that he called the sports model back in 1989? So could there still be bases there outside of the main base? Sure, there could. But the idea that I have heard is once Obama made the announcement that Area 51 really indeed did exist within the Nellis Air Force Range, or Nellis Test Range, pardon me, that they actually moved everything out and moved it to other bases that we may not know of. And those bases may not even be on terrestrial land in North America. They could be in islands up in Alaska, other islands that the United States has bases on, even secret bases. And so it's very hard to say where this UFO crash retrieval equipment may be if it's still in the hands of the government.
What do you think they have there?
At Area 51?
No, at these other places.
I think they have UFOs. I do. I believe that they have crash retrievals. I believe that they have aliens. You know, we go back to the Jackie Gleason case. I know you love that case of the late actor who was very much into UFOs until he took a very private tour of a base in Florida with Richard Nixon during his presidency, and they walked into a secret hangar where there was a UFO and alien bodies in some kind of formaldehyde test tubes that they were in because they were deceased, and that seemed to change them. Where did those go? Do they even truly exist? I think they do. There's enough smoking gun knowledge there that people have talked about that these are real. The problem that we have is nobody seems to want to admit where they are, how we got them, where did we find them, and where are they now. The lead story behind that would be that these crash retrievals and alien bodies are not in the hands of the U.S. government. They are actually in the hands of private contractors, and the reason for that is that way the U.S. government has complete denial, Walter, that they are in possession of this, number one. But number two, private contractors like Lockheed Martin or other companies like that are exempt from Freedom of Information Act requests. So they do not have to answer as private corporations. Therefore, they cannot confirm nor deny they have it.
That's the first time I ever heard that explanation as to why private corporations are controlling our UFO technology, alien bodies. That's the first time that I've heard that explanation. That means that in order to release the information, we have to get cooperation from those private companies that we've either given the stuff to or sold it to.
Absolutely. And this is why a couple weeks ago, Representative, my favorite one, you know that, Anna Paulina Luna, was actually adamant about asking, and I think Nancy Mace also said it too, where they want these private corporations to buck up. Tell us what you have. You know, we know it's not in our hands, so if it's in your hands, the American people have a right to know.
But that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense because if it's in their hands, we gave it to them.
Right.
So so we already know what they have.
True, but they want to know where it is because I don't think everybody knows where it is.
That's
right?
possible. That's possible.
Could it be at 29 Palms in California?
Yeah.
Could it be at Area 51 or Wright-Patterson Air Force Base? We know that Lockheed has buildings right over there, plus they have buildings at other facilities as well. Which one's it at?
It seems to me that something that valuable would be well inventoried.
And very deep underground. Like, that's not something that you're going to just put in an ordinary hangar that has, an opening that a satellite could look into, or anybody who is driving a fire truck or a safety vehicle could look into. You don't want that. This is stuff that goes deep underground. I mean, some of these bases have multiple stories below ground in order to hide these technologies. I mean, there's rumors that if you go to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, that some of these buildings go down anywhere between 5 and 25 stories.
It's so amazing. The conspiracy to hide underground facilities in the United States is profound and never been acknowledged. Often we hear about rumors of secret construction projects going down 25, 30 stories to protect the elite, that the elite in our country in times of an emergency would have an entire city to be able to go underground and live in while the rest of the population would die. But at some point, if you're building a 25-story building underground, somebody would notice the bulldozers, don't you think?
Well, it all depends on how they cover it up. They probably put some sort of facade building over top, but you would see the construction. And look, they're in places where you or me will never be able to see. I mean, we can't even fly over Area 51 or the Nellis Air Force Range, like if you're flying to Vegas, because they don't want people to see what is hiding down there. So, I mean, could a satellite do it? Sure. But I do know that at Area 51 specifically, they know when the Russian satellites are flying over. They know when the Chinese or the Korean or the Indian satellites are flying over. And they will move all of their equipment in until those satellites pass before moving it back out. That's how you keep secrets. And sometimes, just to be funny, they will actually have these mats, like these giant mats of aircraft that are black, that will show up on the tarmac. So when the satellites come over, they'll think they're seeing an aircraft down below, but really it's just like a floor mat on the tarmac.
Dave Scott, how do we hear you? Where can we find you on social media, sir?
We're all over social media of Spaced Out Radio, including YouTube, Spaced Out Radio. And if you want to download my show for free, because it's always free, you could go to any podcast network, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes.
Dave Scott, a known Canadian, thank you for being on the other side of midnight.